Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Dave Lees.
And I'm Nolan Carney.
Yes, and this is This and That. We are going to be discussing everything that happened at the Lombardia Trophy, at the Russian test gates. But first, we have to take a moment back because something happened this weekend that was just like spectacular. Okay. Your girl, Paulina
Okay.
Edmonds, married. Now, for those of
Okay.
people who aren't on TSL Live, Nolan is in love with Paulina. He loves
Hold on.
Paulina. He lives cast, and yet you've turned on Paulina lately. You've been upset with her. You like her podcast, you like her opinions, and then you like to fight with her.
Pause. I wouldn't say I love her podcast, and I have never like gotten into a fight with Paulina. I'm just underwhelmed with the work that she's been putting out, you know? And that's
Listen,
all I have to say. You know what? We
she's
all
been
go through
busy.
phases in life. We all go through phases in life, and this might have been one of them. But you know what? I'm very happy for her wedding. I'm happy she had a great wedding. She invited all the skaters. Didn't know she was close with Sasha Cohen, but you know what?
Yes.
I'm happy she had a great wedding.
First of all, if you have a wedding and you invite Sasha Cohen, Christy Yamaguchi, and Brian Boitano, like that's A plus. All right. Like
Yeah,
massive
that's an
chalk
A
on
plus
all of
wedding.
like the Montreal people. All right. Paulina got the important
Yeah,
A-listers of San Francisco there. You have to give her credit. But she
she
did
did.
something else that was so iconic. And she's the only skater I've seen do this. She had a choreographed first dance. Okay.
I
That
know. I
that went
saw
from the
that.
Junior Grand Prix to the Olympics. Okay. And
Yes.
the husband of hers let her do it. Okay. Also, she had like the mock turtleneck as a part of a dress. It like emphasized that she's a tall giraffe in the best way. As a, I applaud her. Okay. You don't understand. This was a girl. She was made to be at the Russian test gates. Okay. She
She
delivered
was.
a wedding. Trusova, no choreographed dance.
No.
Kostornaia, no choreographed dance. We don't know about Madison Chock. We weren't invited, right? We just saw nothing good. I mean, she was taking.
Coaster and I had braces. It was not our best wedding, all right?
Oh my God, she needed to know about Invisalign, but you know,
I
because you
know.
out, right?
You know,
But
I will say one thing that I do love, Paulina meant she told us way back in the day that she did take those dance tests, all right?
yes,
And you saw that rotational lift in the first dance. Like, did you see the rotational
I
lift? It was
I'm so proud of
wonderful.
her. Listen, she is an icon.
Yeah. Yeah.
She knows she looks good in like one color, like
Oh,
crop top. Like when she's skating, she
did
knows.
you see?
Okay.
Did you see on her Instagram like it was like a couple weeks ago, she was like posting that she was going to like F45 classes like to like get in shape for her wedding. I was just like, this is like she knows the game. Like she was ready like to play for her wedding and she was getting prepared. Like it's fabulous.
You know what? She is an
She
American.
won some points back with me.
She's an American lady who competed at nationals, like not the current year. Like I think they fell off a cliff after Ashley Wagner. Like she,
Yeah.
after that was like 2016 was like the last great year. Okay, and then we don't know about these new girls.
It's been
Okay,
rough. It's been
it's
rough.
been it's been tough. Okay, but you know what? She's one of our home girls forever. Okay,
We
so
respect her always, love her always.
Christy Yamaguchi was there. I don't know if she has the jewel on her tooth still. I'm a little bit troubled with that because Christy can
Yeah.
do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. But
But that's a little scary.
that was a little a little
It's a
scary.
little much.
But you know what? It's okay. We're gonna forgive her. She's perfect for so long, minus that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move into it. You
Okay.
had a freak out this week. And I I was working and I got a call and you were in your feelings. You have a thing about the cricket club, right? And you have a thing about your girl Gia Shin, who you've been in love with for several years. Some
Years.
of our
Like since
TSL
novice.
will know that you've been following her before she was on the Junior Grand Prix. You were
Yeah.
on top of this.
Yeah.
You picked her out. She was your Anna Sherbakova. She missed two Lutzes in the free. And
And
what
in the
happened?
short. And in the short.
Do you think
Yeah.
Brian Orser tinkered with the technique? Because he was never the jump guru before. Like he was the head coach, the manager in either
And
Lee or
just saying.
Gillen. Yes.
Yeah.
And Tracy would do the edge class, and then we have David Wilson. What is going on with your girl on this move? Because she was supposed to win this Junior Grand Prix.
by a lot. Like it wasn't even supposed to be close, if we're being 100% honest. But I don't know. I mean, I watch her Lutz is on, it's always been a vague outside, very vague outside. And it was vaguely, if you go back and
Paul
replay,
Wiley would not call that
vaguely
an outside
outside,
edge. We'll have to send it to him.
vaguely outside.
Okay.
And I wondered, like, I just wonder about, is the train, Jenny said this in our text that, you know, when you're in like Korea or Russia or Japan, like that environment is so conducive to allow you to like perform your best because you're always competing. And when you move to the cricket club and, you know, you have like the Canadian girl that was here, like couldn't even do like a triple flip clean. Like when you're training with that, and then like people like Kaori Sakamoto, who's like not even like on the international circuit, like it's tough to really keep yourself motivated when you're moving to an environment that is not as intense, that you might not push yourself to be where you need to be for this junior Grand Prix. And I think that might have been what factored in. Also, you got to remember, she moved to an entire new country within the past 4 months or 4 weeks, because she was in Korea at that test skate, and now she's in Canada. She's living in a new country, living in a new environment. I'm sure it's definitely been a lot for her to process, but still, I was underwhelmed with the performances. She made a couple tweaks to the choreographic sequence in the program too. You know, like she used to do her second triple flip out of a mohawk. Now it's out of a 3-turn in the same spot as the first flip. So I think there's been a lot of factors that have been switched up in her program that have caused her to maybe be underprepared. But I also think this could be a good thing for her because, you know, we didn't bomb enough that we're out of the Junior Grand Prix final contention. We finished 4th, so we need to win our next one, and we definitely have the goods to do that. You know, there are some girls there that are good, but if she skates clean, I would expect her to win, and be able to qualify for the final. But you know, I definitely had a freak out, to multiple people, and I'm okay now. I've calmed down, and I've, you know, as they said, I've processed it, and we're moving on. You know, I hope it's good fuel for her to get it in gear.
Do we know if the mom moved to Canada? Because as David Wilson told us, the
Hello.
mom is always the coach. He said that about Asian moms, but really, if you've been to an ice rink, it's really most moms are the coach, I would say, or running the ship at least. And what I wonder if she's slightly taller. She's obviously adjusting. I don't think that this is bad. Listen, she's 4th place. I think she will pull it up for her next Grand Prix. If she has another rough outing, then we can talk. But I think that she's where she needs to be strategically, because she's meant to contend for an Olympic title next year, or potentially she'll be
Medal.
to compete for the World Championships after those Olympics or the next season, right? Like, especially like that's kind of her time. And we haven't seen her do a triple axel or a quad. Let's just say that let's just say I don't know what she's working on, right? She doesn't post it on Instagram or anything, but let's say that she's not adding more content. What she needs to do is really work on her polish, get her skating skills as good as they can be, which Tracy is good at. They have a really strong Pilates teacher at the cricket club, and she really needs to work on her turnout, which is probably coming from her core and her hips. So if she can really work on Pilates and do the kind of Jason Brown approach where she gets as strong as possible, as clean as possible, and they go for the GOE. She's against Kaori, who, and we'll talk about her later, but you know, Kaori's also not really adding new jumps. Right now, she's doing 2 Lutzes. I don't know if that will stick, especially if they get edge calls. Listening to Paulina's podcast, I would, you know, think that that's quite possible. But I think that these are 2 skaters who have around the same technical content, so that it's going to come down to who can present, who has the skating skills, how well can they be polished. I don't know that she can beat Kaori, but I think that she could get close, and then you don't know what's going to happen a year and a half from now, because Kaori has to hope that someone doesn't come out of nowhere and all of a sudden start being incredible, and she has to stay interested and healthy for the next year and a half, which I think for Kaori, it's actually a little bit tougher to stay mentally engaged when she doesn't really have to perform that well until Japanese nationals,
Yeah.
the world championships, right? Like she's kind of in this weird purgatory where she just has to hold on because she probably never thought she was going to be in contention for a gold medal at the 2026 Olympic Games if
Yeah.
you were in 2022. So I think for her, it's like a little bit strange. And I think that that's where Gia can, make some noise, and she'll have a lot of attention with, she'll have a lot of attention between Tracy and Brian and David, and hopefully they can get one or two more top skaters in there.
You have to be real because she's their best skater they have. Like,
yes,
she should be their primary focus if we're being 100% honest. But
I think she will be because Jason
yeah.
does a lot.
Oh yeah, Jason too.
Chicago,
Yeah.
but I think one or two more skaters would be smart to round up that group. If they could get someone like Wakaba or someone else in there to really kind of aim that out. And David has also worked with Yelim Kim, so that would be another skater to kind of add, although I don't know if after Gia's outing that's so likely, but I would be intrigued to see if they add someone to the cricket club before the Olympics, because we see a lot of jockeying for positioning happen right now, and they have packaged skaters to titles at the end of the thing. So
I agree. Yeah.
It was
a great rough start.
Rough start. I don't think that the music in the free is the best place for her
either. Yeah.
Lori loves.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it. She's used it for like 50 girls. Like,
you said that you were having visions of Gracie Gold's meltdown season.
I was.
Okay.
I did.
It's all right. It's okay.
I said she's using the same music, a tango in the short, a white dress in the long, bombed their first outing. I was having an homage. It was a little scary for me.
How about Sarah Everhart at Lombardia channeling Gracie Gold the Firebird year when she won nationals? The choreography and the music cut almost exactly the same. The dress almost exactly the same. She delivered. She's kind of okay. For those who watch the Olympics, I think we can make this comparison. I believe that Sarah Everhart is the Jade Carey of women's figure skating on Team USA.
Okay.
She's not flashy.
Nope.
She delivers. She's reliable. They have kind of similar hair and coloring. Like, I get I trust her. I trust her to go out there and do her job. Okay. I'm not saying that she's an artist, but she's a nice air position and she gets it done.
Yeah. Do you know what I was thinking? I think I really like the short. I think the short really works for her. It's very conducive for like a non-traditional skater to look a little elevated. But I will say, Gracie Gold did Firebird in Boston in 2016.
Yes.
And this year, the World Championships are in Boston.
Yes.
I think Sarah is a legit contender to be in it. It really kind of creates a lot of intrigue for the US women. And we just kind of have to see how things pan out. But right now, she's beaten the world champion last year and the world silver medalist of last year already in the first two events.
I think she's definitely got a great chance for the world team. She's also coached by Ilia Malinin's parents. So the USFS is going to be in that rink a lot for monitoring. Justin Dillon will certainly be in touch with them a lot because they're going to be relying on him over the next 18 months for team gold, for individual gold at the Olympics and at Worlds. That can help someone like Sarah because they're going to be looking at the other people in the rink because they are right there. That helps someone like her. Absolutely. Also, training with him helps something, but the politics of that will help her find that, find that spot.
Yeah. And I was going to say, she doesn't really normally stand out as a skater. So I think that helps her in a way too, but also hasn't really ever gotten, I think, the full US support and trust over the past couple of years. Last year she was 4th at nationals, didn't get sent to junior worlds, got overlooked for that. And, coming out and having these two band performances to start the year, I think that starts to get the buzz built about her, and we can start to see her elevated in conversations of where she could be contending for.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I look is that the US women are kind of in flux right now. It's kind of it's a season of change, right? Like it's kind of out with the old, but watching the competitions, a couple weeks ago, we saw Lindsay Thorngren perform, and it was interesting. She got a clean protocol, which didn't match what we saw in the short program on video at the Mid Atlantics, and then in the free, her protocol was more along the lines of what you would expect based on what her jumps have looked like. I don't know if it's possible to clean those up at this point. I think that she was really mismanaged by her coaches for several years, and at this point, I don't know if you can fix chronic under rotations for a year and a half. She was kind of taught that imitation Atari technique by Anton Nemenko when he was working with Julia, and I don't think that it benefited her. Ava Ziegler also worked with him, and now she's injured. Kirk worked with him, although he's now
Both
really
of them.
with Raphael. Mia Margot worked and left. I just don't think it's really helpful, in that sense, especially as the skaters are older and taller, and Lindsay's certainly a very tall skater. She's also super flexible. And as we've seen, when skaters like Mao or even Mirai that have a lot of flexibility, it can be tougher for them to get that quick snap right off the takeoff of some of these jumps. So I think for Lindsay, it's gonna be tough. I think, and she's not the most outgoing skater. So if they find the right music for her, it works. But I don't know. So I worry about her. I worry about Ava Ziegler's health because she just had hip surgery. So that means she's going to miss the fall. If she misses nationals, that means she misses 4 continents and she falls behind in the ISU ranking points. And she's always been kind of an underdog in the USFS. So missing
sorry.
missing nationals 2 years in a row is going to be tough for her. And then Isabeau seemed to be really struggling again.
Yeah. And I was going to say about Ava, if she misses nationals and doesn't get sent out to 4 continents, that's a whole year of no points. And she already had those limited points as well. So we probably wouldn't see her on the Grand Prix unless she got like the host spot next year at all, which kind of, if you're not on the Grand Prix for the Olympic season, like it's normally like not going to work out for you. Like you're not going to make that Olympic team, if I'm just being 100% honest. But I wonder if she'll do sectionals to try to qualify for nationals, but
yeah,
I haven't heard anything.
Historically, they start to really decide the Olympic team
2 years in
now.
advance.
It's written into the procedure, right? So now it's actually explained how they do this, right? But there's really kind of only maybe 1 spot or 2 spots open, and I think we're going to see based on who goes to Worlds and then how they do this year. But I think you have to put someone like Alyssa Liu in the mix. Skating again. She is a very solid competitor. So if she can get enough of her jumps called clean, I think she will be in the mix. She's working with Massimo Scali again. And then I think, Brady Tennell's been skating well. She was at Evening with Champions this week. So there's kind of like a flux happening.
5 girls. I would say the 5 girls are Sarah, Amber, Isabeau, Alyssa, Brady. Or the 5 girls, I think, in my mind, have a legitimate chance of being on that team. And that's if they get 3 spots.
Tammy Gamble is going to try to get in there. Whether she's going to be in the kissing pie with Amber, every lady in novice and junior who is good magically winds up going to Tammy, whether suggested or their mothers get a clue, right, of who to follow. She's going to be pushing for some sort of lady. Elise Lynn Garvey
did Skate America.
Skate America. I would be concerned about the potential for one of those. I don't know that those skaters are up to the same level just yet. So I think there's some jockeying. I think Tammy could possibly bring back Vincent Joe if she is.
That'd be a good idea.
That's what I would do for the men, to make sure she has an Olympian of herself to kind of maintain her status, because I wouldn't put all of my eggs in the Camden basket based on his history and based on the fact that he's got a full-time job. He's,
yeah. The men are very all over the place right now, for sure.
Yeah.
And there's just, it's more in flux than the women, other than Ilia and Jason.
We messed up when we said Corey.
Oh, yes.
Lucas Broussard. It's the Corey that
Corey
works
Martin.
with Corey Martin,
Yes.
who did his free program. It wasn't Corey Cercelli, so I just wanted to correct that. But I think Luca Broussard is definitely in it.
He's in it for sure.
He's in it for he got the spot for Skate America, and I think he's someone that is definitely on the rise for one of the spots at the Olympic Games potentially. So yeah,
and he's definitely in it at Skate America to do well at the top. I think he could be in the top 5 for sure if he skates like he did at Cranberry. So
yeah. All right, so let's talk about Lombardia. This was a huge win for Amber Glenn over Kaori. I think people will want to point out that for Kaori, she has started the season slower the last couple of seasons, and that she tends to peak at Worlds. I still think that this is a huge win for Amber, with that caveat in there, mostly because Amber delivered for herself, regardless of what Kaori did. And I think it starts a narrative that if Amber delivers, she can score well and potentially win or medal at big competitions. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say I was more shocked. I'm not shocked about the win. I was more shocked about her being able to hold up in the long as well as she did. Last year, I don't think we did one clean-ish long the entire year, maybe. And for her, I think it's more of a confidence booster that she was able to get through it with the minor errors than it was to beat the world champion. Because I think she knows in herself that she has the capabilities and the goods to do it. It's more just about her going out on the line and doing the pressure to do the 2 back-to-back programs. The programs were nice. What did you think about the short? Did you like it?
I like the short much better than the free. To me, the free, I felt like I knew what the free was going to be as soon as we saw her in the dress. I was like, oh, okay, it's like another version of
last year's program. Yeah.
Last year's program. I just thought, oh, okay. I really liked the short. I thought it was a great look. I think the music worked. The Jackson, it worked for her. The triple axel looks great. Yeah. And if she delivers, she's different enough that I think the judges, and the audience are both going to like her, and potentially sponsors. She's interesting enough, right? Like, she doesn't look like every other skater out there. Yeah. And I think we're in this weird period where both Mia Hamada and kind of a lot of the coaches in the US were starting to try to copy the Russian technique. And then once that age rule changed,
they flipped. They went back.
Old school standard jump technique is more in vogue now that the skaters have to be 17 instead of 15, right? So you can't just have someone that's very narrowly hipped, very young and very prepubescent. It doesn't work the same way. So someone that has more old school technique like Amber, I think is going to do quite well. Kaori Sakamoto, right? Also, more,
and you
standard.
got to remember, like, Amber is huge on like social media, like on TikTok, Instagram. Like, she's a huge social media following. Like, so for those sponsorships, like, that's a huge marketable feature for her, for these companies to be invested in her and give her these deals and sponsorships. So
what I think what's really interesting is that, so she does EMDR on neurofeedback, which is the same thing that Simone Biles was also doing. Simone stopped short at just saying that she did therapy, but she didn't go into the details about it as much. I mean, she wasn't really ever asked, but Amber's been more specific about the actual therapy that she's doing. And I think we're going to see that that's going to be a really interesting case, especially if she continues to perform well this season, because she's someone that has had a lot of mental blocks and then showing, what you can work through with mental health. We also saw Javier Fernandez do EMDR in his documentary. That was when the guy was doing the figure back and forth. Amber credited it in her Instagram post. So I think, seeing someone like Simone overcome the twisties and be able to get back to doing twisty again, right? Like, knowing about how important, brain science is in terms of athletics. I think that that's also a really interesting talking point for Amber that would make her more interesting and potentially more relatable for the Olympics. And then if she performed well, it would add into that column. But I think it just makes her more interesting to talk to. Plus, she's a little bit older, and that always helps the media, and they feel like they can talk to someone.
She's just being more vulnerable and like sharing her own personal side of the story. And I think obviously, like, if you have a skater that's going to do that, you're able to, a lot of more people are going to be able to resonate towards them and kind of, you know, build and form their own connections and attachments to that skater. So I think it's just, it's what we're missing in the sport, is that the skaters aren't, we don't have the fluff pieces learning about the skaters, learning about their like trials and tribulations. So this is kind of just, I think, more of a modern day current version of a fluff piece that Amber is kind of giving us that we've been lacking. And I think that's why that you see so many fans are so attached to Amber, or get behind her so much, is because she's able to share who she is as an athlete and as a person as well. So,
and she's not afraid to stand out and provoke. One, she doesn't have Tammy with her because of cry, right? And apparently Damon has actually like gone to her sessions to learn how to communicate with her. I think it's also interesting that she held the pride flag at nationals, right? Now it was handed to her, right? And she took the photo with it, and like that was the photo that just like erupted. It was her, it was in victory.
it
And
was all over on
whether you
Instagram and
loved
TikTok.
it or
Yeah.
you hated it, it was everywhere, and everybody had an opinion on it one way or another, because it meant a lot to a lot of people that have followed skating. Also, people that, you know, don't like that sort of thing were also really, that kind of thing is going to make her more known just going into the Olympics. And she's got the triple axel. It's a big triple axel. It's a good triple axel. There's just enough.
Yeah.
There's enough, like she checks a lot of the boxes of like what would make an interesting figure skate. I remember like John Nick said that there was nothing worse than a boring lady skater, and like Amber's not boring, right? Like that's
No,
the thing,
no.
whether you like her, you know, she plays Dungeons and Dragons. Like, listen, this is, we've never had one of these before, okay? And
No.
Dungeons and Dragons, American ladies ice queen champion with a triple, like, yeah, we,
I could see her playing like Minecraft like on the weekends.
you
Like,
know, why not? Okay,
yeah. And
going to the Renaissance Fair with Sonia
yeah,
Hilmer, like, come on.
I could totally see that.
Sonia
Yeah.
Hilmer, like all of the Amber posts when I was like, great, okay.
And you know, one thing that I really have appreciated about Amber is that I know she's not with Tammy full time, but you know, a lot of the Tammy skaters kind of fit into a little bit of a box. They're a little generic. You know, I think that's something
A
that their
little.
camp could work on more. But I think I think Amber is such a star in her own way that she can kind of break out of the Tammy mold without having to conform into it, because she's so authentically herself. You know, she is such a star right now within the US of women's skating. Like, she is one of our top skaters that she can kind of do what she wants because she has that like overall power to be able to perform and show herself without having to conform into the box.
The one thing I'll say about Amber is, you know, we've had a lot of fans that have watched like TSL over the years, right? And there are certain fans that like get excited about people, then they zone out for a while, then they come back. You know, these are like your Ashley Gracie type fans. They resonate with Amber. If you
Yeah.
post her on social media, people comment. There's just like enough things about her that they connect with. And she's an interesting topic of conversation, whether you love her or hate her. So,
And I think she kind of grew up, well, like you were talking about, 2016 was like the last year, I guess we kind of felt it was the height of US skating for the women. She was skating then. I mean, she was growing up in her developmental years, her junior years during that time period. So she saw those girls, you know, she was training with those girls, skating with them, and has that perception, kind of has that mindset from back then, and is just still utilizing it now. She didn't grow up in the Atari IJS years where it's very like generic, lovely, like piano music. That wasn't something that she grew up with. So I think that also has benefited her as well.
I want to say the one thing that this win will
So,
do, it will really position her to potentially defend her title at nationals. I want to say defend her, win a second title at nationals, I think is a better way to look at
yeah.
it. Because obviously there's going to be a lot of support or buzz behind maybe Alyssa Liu or Isabeau going in there, depending on how they do in the Grand Prix, beating the three-time world champion. The
It's a
first
huge start.
with the triple axel is a huge start. And you know that nationals tends to follow the wave of the beginning of the season. So the more good results she can put in the bank, not only is she helping herself win nationals, she's also helping herself qualify to the Olympics, because everything from here on out,
It's
pretty much the Olympics.
qualifications. Yeah. I will say though, the one thing that does worry me, I need to see this consistently.
Of
I
course.
don't need to see like a clean program every time. I would like to see like a nice short program and then maybe like 1 or 2 mistakes in the long throughout the year. Like that's fine. I'm good with that. But I need to see her do it again and maybe like one more time before nationals because she has she does have that reputation of falling apart when it matters the most. And that always, I think, looms in all of our heads. Like, when you were watching her today or this weekend, I know in my head, I'm sure it was in your head as well. When was the mistake going to happen? When is she going to like fall apart halfway through the free skate? So I'm not trying to be negative here, but this is something that she needs to continue to hammer and attack. And I'm hoping that she has set herself, I think she's doing the best and is setting herself up in the best way possible to capitalize on this momentum and move forward and make progress with her free skate. So, but that I just need to say that.
The first thing I texted you when I got up this morning is call me crazy, but Amber's going to win today. I knew it.
You did say that. Yes.
I felt it. Okay. Like I believed. I don't know. I just kind of felt like she was on such a roll. She looked so good in the short yesterday doing the triple axel.
So good. It was beautiful.
The triple. She just looked really ready. And I thought how perfect for her that they didn't have a day in between. She didn't have like an extra day to think about. Like boom, boom, get it over with. I thought.
And one thing I was going to say about the short that I thought was so smart is that she put the axle in because it's only 3 jumps. She doesn't have the time for her head to spiral a bit. She can just get it done. So she's really able to maximize what she did. And I mean, the short was just so good. Like everything was so crisp, had like immense speed into it and out of the jumps with the flow. I'm just so impressed with her and I'm excited to see her move forward. So
it really helps. Listen, she also beat Kubanova here. She's one of the biggest name skaters, if you will, in the world right now, even though she hasn't had the results at the World Championships. If you look at it, it's kind of like Kaori, Isabeau, her with both Young Yu and
Koreans out, yeah.
Suspended. Young Yu suspended for this season, Hanley suspended for 3. This is really going to help her moving forward, and it's good. For Kaori, we talked a little bit about before. I think she's kind of in this weird purgatory of not really going lights out, right? I do respect her for trying these new styles and trying to become a better performer because look, she's going to be performing in shows, for the rest of her career. I don't think that Chicago is the vehicle for her.
No.
Okay. I don't. I respect her for trying it. I think she should too. I think she should use a different free skate for the World Championships. I don't know what Marie France.
What is Marie France doing?
You know what? She had a really rough year last year. Okay.
But we had the whole sex scandals program last year too.
Think about Marie France, like how different this year could have been for her. Papadakis and Cizeron could have come back. She would have known no matter what, she was going to have the Olympic champion.
Now she has to fight.
Keeping it real. Chock and Bates, visually amazing, right?
Skating.
They've messed up quite a few times in the free dance when the pressure is on. At the Olympics and at the last 2 World Championships, the Olympics are going to be
huge.
In Italy, the Italians are very good skaters. The crowd is going to be on their side.
Yeah.
Chock and Bates,
you have to think
amazing. And they haven't been gamers like Virtue and Moyer, Davis and White, or Papadakis and Cizeron. So
I was going to say, you have to think the media coverage of this next Olympics coming up, especially off the heels of Paris, is going to be huge too. So there's going to be a ton of media press.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it's not going to be Beijing. Beijing is not at all going to be comparable to 2026.
At least Montreal has been having meetings about a show for Netflix because they need that kind of PR to get behind the teams.
Excited.
Yeah, we need that, right? Because this has not been.
We need that.
This has not been their quad. They put Olivia Smart with Tim Deek. We thought it was a curious choice. Not been going well,
No.
And see Olivia even this week on. Do you see her on Instagram this week? She had like a gash in her leg. It looked like her arm or her wrist. Like she had 99 problems this week in practice that she was messaging about. Like it's a show. Okay. Olivia Smart's Instagram story between the relationship with John Luke Baker. It's a show. You got,
Yeah,
I don't know about her in this partner. I still think bring back Zach Donahue. Like
I agree.
pay him for a year. Okay.
Teach
Like
him Spanish. We can teach him Spanish.
yes.
Quick.
Okay. They could bring him back.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to say something, a couple of things. About Kaori. I like the short. I think it's fiery and it worked for her. But I think she should go back to Benoit.
I wrote the same thing. I
I
said,
think
I
she
cannot
should go
believe I'm
back.
saying this.
He got her.
How? Okay, so I believe the coach made the decision to move away from Benoit.
Yeah. So
I think
I
he was
remember,
being too self-promotional.
yeah, there was
Which,
something
yeah,
about him like
water
promoting
is
her.
wet.
Yeah.
Water is wet. He is in this for his own self-promotion. Um, the style worked better. I respect though that Marie France has tried to make her more of a well-rounded performer using the upper body. Her posture is still not there when she skates. And I respect that she's trying in Chicago. Also, interesting that she uses all that jazz,
For a
which
lot of it.
was Diva Oksana Bayul's program, like during the rehab year when she may have walked out of the kiss and cry when Elfie Schlegel tried to interview her. It was that season. Okay. She had a hat. She had on dark tights. Kaori doesn't give us that much camp. Also, not into the hair color, but I believe she'll be back to sanity.
We'll get a toner. We're going to get a toner soon. Okay.
I think we can keep Roheen for the short.
All right? I liked the short. The short's good.
I'm signing off on Roheen, short program for the Olympics.
Benoit free.
I don't want to say those words. You can say it. You know, that's
Benoit Richaud, like we are asking you to make up Kaori. Like we as skating fans need this. You could do a woman 2.0. Like
I think she should bring back a women program for Boston.
I do too. I should be able to see that.
Or
I deserve it.
Like Chappelle Roan. Right?
No comment.
Modern Billie Eilish. She could skate to anything and win at least a silver. Okay.
You would have Kaori Sakamoto skate to Billie Eilish, Alena Kostornaia's like artist of choice.
I said Chappelle Roan.
Are those two comparable? Are those two comparable?
Listen, I think
I don't know.
Has lost some of her sass. I think she's too happy.
It's a little weepy. It's a little weepy.
She's like too happy and too stable. Do you know how many people so like some people have been like starting to check back into skating, and one of our old Russian sources, like everybody calls about the truce of a marriage, right? And everyone's shocked that Kostornaia is still married because she never stuck onto a coach.
I am too. Like, I know.
Like a Russian marriage in skating.
When we get there, when we get to Kostornaia, remind me to talk about the coach. Remind me. All right.
Okay. All right. Listen, I'm
good with Kaori. We're good.
Listen, Maya talked to Kostornaia yesterday. She called me after the test skates, and she said Kostornaia admires Deanna Stellato, which I really liked about her because usually most of the asshole Russians would say like, I don't watch the international tournaments. They're so boring without us. Right. Yeah. And she just like gave.
And she likes Amber Glenn.
You know what? She's one of us. We always liked her. So I was on Sports.ru. The interview comes out this week. You know, they have a podcast about skating after hours, and it's called The Clean Tail, which is basically like no one's shit doesn't stink is what they're called. Basically, that's what that means. And they interviewed me for it. So last week it's going to come out. By the way, I have a recording of my side. So I can say exactly what I said because I don't necessarily, although Maya translated and someone listened to her translating in real time and said she's like A+. So she got it.
Good. I need to listen to it still.
Okay. But they asked me like why the West likes certain skaters and not others. And like I gave into it. And I explained who the West likes and that people love Kostornaia. That we just love her. So
they don't appreciate her there.
not enough. And I think it's because she doesn't have the world title.
Yeah.
Okay, so there were 2 hosts of the Clean Tail. Sometimes they have 4. The girl really got skating. Like she loves Koyada, she loves Jason Brown. The man who's the editor of all of Sports.ru, he just loves winning. So
Okay.
he likes
Was he
win.
Valyeva? Yeah.
Yeah, he probably loves Trusova when she's landing jumps, hates her now,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, he said he liked Nathan Chen. They love their good alien.
Okay.
So like I was like, okay, I get you. Like
Yeah.
the girl, she knew everything. She's a
He
lawyer. She had
is he
it.
an Ilia fan now?
I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Doesn't like Yuma. Probably doesn't like
Probably doesn't
Yuma.
like Yuma, brought up Jason Brown. Like you knew where this was going. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I understand you. Also, like I was drinking iced coffee and he asked me if I was having Coca-Cola, and I was like, how much do you not understand about skating and that strawberry dessert,
Oh
honey?
my God.
No. No. So
Was it the Oreo Coke Zero?
I
You
haven't
should
had
try that.
Coke. I gave up soda a long time ago. So
Okay.
I've been like having seltzer when I go out to dinner.
Okay.
Lemon. The lemon really makes it exciting. It's how we kid ourselves. Anyway, probably like
Let's
the
talk about the men. Let's get on to the men. Let's see what did you think? Because I think you are gonna have a stroke when I talk about Ilia Malinin.
I think it was good that Frank Carroll passed away this summer, so he didn't have to see
Oh.
Ilia's program. Okay, in the free. All right, it was. I mean, it was. I texted Ann Jensen. She signed off on it. I mean, just guess.
Yeah.
That was an Ari Zakarian special. It had everything that Ari would want. It had the kitchen sink. It had the raspberry twist. It had a really
The
sloppy
backflip.
backflip that also looks like a Surya knockoff, but not good. I think he should at least do like Adam Siohimfa has a better backflip. You knew Ilia was going to do a backflip. Okay.
Yeah, I agree
I
with
think
that.
he'll be
Yeah.
doing a backflip with a twist by the end of the season. Right.
He
Snow
could
fly.
do like a Simone, like do one of Simone Biles' like
Why
backflips.
not? Okay.
Yeah.
The whole he didn't even have his shirt tucked in for the program.
Okay.
It was a mess. The
So
whole thing was a mess. If he's not doing the quad axle, I'm really not that interested anymore. I'm like, we've seen people land quads before. Nathan gave us like Elton John rapping, right? Like in some like colorful shirts. This is, I don't know.
okay, I'm gonna be honest.
The short is better than the free. The short, I felt like he tried. Jenny doesn't think that he tries ever. I thought he tried more in the short. Like they at least had a few like long edges. Like he was trying, maybe.
I really enjoyed both programs.
Nolan, great. Okay, what'd you
I
like?
think he's growing into his star power, and like I really enjoyed that he's kind of in like his angsty teen era. Like I thought it really matched like his overall aesthetic. I liked the costume in the free skate of him like
I'm gonna
being the
give Ari
knockoff.
Zakarian your phone number so he can call you. All
Of
right.
him being the knockoff. We texted Deanna Stellato today, and I texted her and I said, I love that Ilia Malinin is so Deanna coded, trying to be a vampire right now. He knows what the best is what I said.
He likes her. She was at his show, Ilia on Ice, whatever we're gonna call it. That was in Virginia. She was there.
I like it. I know you might not, but I'm a fan, and I think it worked really well.
I think you know what? I think he's better in small doses. I thought the short was better. Okay.
I think it was too much. You watched too much Ilia this week.
4 minutes is too long for me. Okay.
6 minutes combined is a lot for you.
It is. All right. And I'm glad that you understand that. I'm not like as bad as the people on Twitter. I appreciate him. I think he's a phenomenal jumper.
Yeah.
I think he's an amazing athlete. I like that he's trying really inventive things especially with the spin and the short. Listen, he went up on the heel. That is hard.
Well, that's a feature now to get
it's a feature.
level.
It's hard as anything, right? What he's
I'm
doing.
just saying it's a feature. Everyone's doing it.
Props where props are due. Like he really is doing some cool stuff. He is going to need another clever gimmick like skating to succession for the Olympics. Okay. And all of white America will get behind him. Okay.
He needs to get like a popular movie that comes out in like the next year, like pick that.
Yes.
Get a good soundtrack, play it for the Olympics, do it. I think that'll be what happens.
Something that like Gen Z or the millennials will love. Okay. Like something to get people behind it. He's not going to be an artiste ever.
No.
Okay? So
no.
and I'm okay with that. I really am.
I agree.
The free looks like Alexei Mishin packaged him. I don't know what that is, but that is some sloppy shit. Okay, that was a mess.
You know, I will say I do appreciate a Mishin skater like everyone's. I did like Alexei Romanov. All right,
you would. You're on the Benoit train. You know, Benoit would love to work with Ilia.
I know it would be so good, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. They would really feel each other. Okay.
I think they would be great.
Listen,
I'm not a Shaylin fan.
I appreciate, like, listen, Benoit has some like interesting skating skill exercises. So listen, I skate
The
with
band.
Alexei, my coach Alexei and I watch her like do her
Could you imagine
exercise.
Ilia doing the hockey stick? Like, could you imagine?
I would
I would pay to see
band. I
it.
think it looks like a hockey stick, but it's really like she has those bands that are like
Like a
out.
resistance band. Okay.
I'm gonna ask her one day. Like,
Ask her. Ask her what is the purpose of it, and like maybe we need it to give us a tutorial of it.
listen, we can work on our counters together with that band.
No
Okay.
no brackets though for Brady to know. No brackets.
No brackets. She broke her leg on that bracket. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Why was she skating to Moon River? Why does that
I
always
don't know.
remind me of my
But are her and Isabeau now both doing breakfast at Tiffany's together? Like,
Is that her short? I've never seen Brady
I
Parker.
don't know.
I only see the Tosca free.
The
So
turn down.
sorry. Same. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. With
Yeah, it is.
like, let's sorry.
Who said that Brady Tennell should do Moon River? Who decided that that was a good idea? Like, are we back in 1992 at the Worlds with Tanya Harding?
Maybe. Okay. It wasn't her moment, but let me tell you, when Brady skates, she's freaking fast. All right.
She's
so she needs,
impeccable.
she needs something powerful behind.
Yeah. Maybe she should do Tosca for the short. Let's
Why
do
not?
it. Let's do it.
I think she should shave her head and skate to Cruella de Vil, right? Like Trusova, like come on.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why. I feel like Trusova with a shaved head would be like a good moment, right? Like she could be real Sharon Stone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just say, shouldn't Trusova skate to her own song? Like, don't you think we need that?
Fine. Okay. You know what?
I told Dave that at the opening of the show that we should put the Trusova song like in as like the TSL opening for this show.
I can't. Okay. I just.
Do you remember when you watched it for the first time?
The music video when she was flying?
It's so good. It was so good.
Yes. You know what?
It was so good.
You want to talk about her now, or you want to talk
Let's
about?
just do you want? Okay, we could talk about. Let's talk about Yuma and let's move to. Oh, let's finish up Lombardia. Let's finish up Lombardia.
Lombardia. Okay. All right. Let's move it along.
Spark notes Yuma.
It was wonderful. All right.
Beautiful. Romanza.
You know what? Frank Carroll always loved Lori Nickel. He picked her out for the rest of us. Michelle Kwan used Romanza, not used very often, especially in free skate. It was amazing.
It was very well done.
Do you want to know how Lori really likes Yuma? She has one move that she gives men that are her freaking favorite when she codes them.
Is it the little?
No, he's doing something like weird with his hands, or no, maybe not weird. Maybe like stylistic with his hands. Do you notice that? Like it's like repeated several times throughout the program.
Yeah. Lori loves a hand movement.
Yeah, as she should.
In Gia's program, tons of hands.
I love the fact that like Lori has Costner like hired to like do her day-to-day work. Like that's when you're a real queen, like Irina Wiener in Russia. Like you have the minion who does your day-to-day work, and then you're there to oversee it. Okay.
Yeah.
But she has this move. Patrick Chan did it when he was with Lori. Dennis Ten did it, and now he is. And it's when she does twizzles, and she has the man cross their free leg under, almost like they're doing like a headless scratch spin, like Lambiel, and when he puts the free leg underneath, and when you watch, it's almost like a dropped leg on the twizzle. And if you notice, Yuma's now doing it, and it just makes them look so sophisticated with their edges. And he doesn't have the as good of extension as Dennis or as Patrick did, but he's getting there. His skating skills are really, really good. The spins are great. I mean, the program is magic. And I think what's so interesting is like he has this incredible Salchow technique where he waits
Mhm.
forever on the inside edge, and
He
it
really
helps
holds it.
him.
Yeah. It
Yes,
really helps him get up. He gets
yes.
real height and power into it because he really holds that edge before like springing up into it.
So Paul always tells me to study Kurt Browning Salchow, but Kurt Browning told me to study Yuma Salchow. Like Kurt is obsessed with it. Like he can't. When
Yeah.
he came with Alyssa last year, he was like, "Can we talk about Yuma Salchow?" Like he was just like really excited. It was so good today.
And I have to say, I think his quad toe Euler triple Salchow is the best in the world, like the best that's ever been done. Like that is the best I've ever seen of that jump done. It's so beautiful. Like the quad toe is so airy. The Euler has great, like it's the best combination I think I've ever seen in my life, honestly.
I really don't want him to become the Rebecca Andrade of figure
Yeah,
skating, where he's like never gonna win because Simone's always
yeah,
winning.
it's tough.
He needs a quad lutz.
I know he needs another quad flip. Why he did the quad flip in the summer program and the competition, and then we didn't do it here.
He needs to get more consistent with the quad flip. I think he needs a
Mm-hmm.
quad flip and a quad
And a
lutz.
quad loop.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
We've seen
needs to amp it up.
Yeah.
That's a big ask, though.
Yes. But like
He has the potential. His basics are great, but
they,
that flip, don't you find the flip, the swingy, the 3-turn, a little swingy for him? That
yes,
it's a little scary. I feel like it's very like I don't know if we could do 2 quad flips.
I don't think he's gonna be able to close the gap
I think it'll be tough to do so.
Ilya showed up like drunk for the
Yeah.
Olympics. Like I don't see it really possible, but I mean he's phenomenal.
Crazier things have happened. He just needs
Yeah.
to stay healthy. My suggestion is stay healthy and push yourself the hardest you can because you never know what could happen with someone who's doing tons of quads in the
But
program.
don't do the backflip, Yuma. Be the classy.
Don't do the
Doesn't do
backflip.
it. Okay, like
Yeah.
you know what? He really does stand out, and a lot of like purists are really behind him. He's growing as a performer as well. But you loved
Yeah.
Shun Sato this week. First of
I
all,
did.
Shun Sato skating into Ladies in Lavender to me is so 2009.
Is that his short? I didn't watch the short.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Didn't watch that. Had a moment to his long.
All
I
right.
just thought it was very, I think it was almost, was it done by Benoit? Because it really gave me a good Benoit vibe. I don't know. His Axel and Lutz are really weird though. His technique on did you see the final triple Lutz at the end? It's almost like he did a triple loop.
Okay, I'm looking up the program for you. No, Cizeron
It was,
did his free skate.
oh,
Cizeron
you know
did
what?
programs.
Go Guillaume. That was really good. Like,
And
and
he
he
did
did,
do Ladies in Lavender for the short. It's the
okay.
Fantasy for Violin and Orchestra, which is from Ladies in Lavender.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
Cizeron, giving it to him. Whatever. You know.
I just thought he was I really enjoyed his free. I didn't really have a lot of thoughts. Other than that, I just had a moment. He skated very well.
Yeah. All
So.
right. What do you make about Bruno Marcotte's Riku and Ryuichi in the pair? They worked with different choreographers this year. They worked with Shaylin for the short. Again, Marie France for the free. Okay. They're skating to Jason Brown's Adios music.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was like they were like Kaori. It was like, let's put on a Halloween costume. Kaori decided she was going to go as Roxy Hart. They're pretending that they could skate to Adios. This music, I don't think it bothered them at all. You know, I don't think they expressed it at all. I don't think it's them at all. But I thought that the actual set choreography, like I understood why Marie France choreographed the movements that she did to that music. This team just like isn't giving the edge. Like this team is the problem with the music. Like the program is there if they choose to interpret it. Yeah.
I have to say, I didn't really write a lot of notes on the individual programs of the two but I wanted to talk a bit about the comparison between the Japanese and the Italians because I really, really had a tough time seeing how, even with the mistakes that the Japanese made, how the Italians were above them. Because in the short and in the long, because the Italians you really can see it with the Japanese, they're skating much closer together. They have much more fluidity between each other, better skating skills, better projection. And the Italians, I felt they're just so stiff.
Yes.
But, and and the costuming for the Italian did not work at all. The Papa, can you hear me, with all black and the black bodysuit for the woman, I just did not work for me. Even with the lift that went down for the Japanese, like it was still so much better.
To me, the Italians,
In
they kept
my
the one
opinion.
program for 2 years, and then to me, they're doing like last year's program to different snoozy music. I mean, I don't find them very
Yeah.
engaging. I think that they're very good athletes and skaters. To me, they're like solidly
Mhm.
top 4 in the world when they're on. I think the Germans are better at
Yep.
this point. To me, they just look a little bit uninspired. There was a lot of politics at Lombardia. Listen, without
The
Russia
home
there,
event.
you've got to think that Italy is in it for the Olympics.
Mhm.
Listen, Italy allowed Daniel Grosso to come back after he missed 3 doping tests, was supposed to be out for 2 years, was reduced to 1 year, and they're not giving any details about his 3 doping tests. To me, that tells you everything you need to know about Italy and their political game going into the Olympics. Like,
Yeah.
they're in it to win it.
And
So yeah, this is not the best pair for me. I do agree that there was a lot of politics. I'm actually way more concerned about Ryuichi's health than I am about
yeah,
the fact that the
he was
Italians
very winded after this too.
He's very winded. They talked about a bruise, although he also had the condition at Worlds.
Yeah.
Last year, they said that he had lumbar spondylosis, which is degenerative in his spine. I'm concerned that his body could be breaking down, because oftentimes when you get one injury, then you get another injury, right? Like it just, for a bunch of reasons, like what's taking the force in your body. Their jumps looked swingy to me. He wasn't checking the landings.
She was solid on that, honestly, though, compared to him.
I wouldn't call her solid on that triple toe. I would say that it was
The
better.
triple sow. The
Yeah,
triple sow
better
was
better than
nice.
his. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I Their short is very Shaylin. It's so funny. Like they did like the leg kick to the side,
Mhm.
It was so Shaylin. I I think that this team peaked in 2023. And
I
for
agree. I
and
could see
I
that.
think that this team has to kind of get through this year and then make a push for next year. I think it's going to be hard for them to win at Boston Worlds, because Deanna and Max will have both Canada and America behind them. They'll be reigning champions, and her story, it's almost going to be like another home worlds for Deanna. And I
Yeah.
just think that that's going to
Yeah.
be
Totally.
really tough for them to overcome. And she's got the story, and they're skating to Crazy in Love. Are we going to find out that Deanna and Max are a couple, right? Like at what moment? Like that's going to be the talk of
Yeah.
the season. So, you know, I think that
Okay. One thing that I want to mention about the Italians. So you know how they're doing Carmen for their short program, but it was suggested by the Nicolo's girlfriend for them to do it. And remember, this is the pair that like were on again, off again, on again, off again in like their relationship. And now the girlfriend's like suggesting Carmen, like just adding to the love triangle, like there a
love this.
little bit.
Well,
Like,
I love
what
this
is
for
going
us.
on?
It's a long
Yeah.
season. It's a boring season at times. You know what? A good fight around Europeans with the girlfriend, them skating to Carmen. Love this for us. Okay, right?
Yeah.
Because they're snoozy.
Yeah.
This Papa, can you hear me? Jim Peterson never even pulled that. Okay, so
No.
you know, I don't know why Yentl remembers every book she ever read, but you know what? This program is not that. Uh,
No.
yeah,
Yeah.
Guignard and Fabbri.
Oh, I forgot about them.
I think it's better that their free dance is not romantic, and that's weird because they're a couple, but I'm just sticking with that. I said it, I'm not elaborating. But I think, to me, this is where Barbara has packaging issues. When you wear matching silver lame onesies, but then you don't wear boot covers, and she has white skates and he has black, it
It's
looks great.
so tacky.
Barbara, like with her hair and lipstick color, just doesn't understand packaging. And it just as in her own career, it's like too much. It's too much. Barbara, when she won Worlds, did a chest bump with her partner in the middle of their step sequence. It's aggressive. They're going to need all of the push of a home Olympics behind them. They are the best skaters in ice dance, but ice dance is also performative.
You know,
They're just weird. And her spine doesn't move at all,
yeah.
which makes the shapes really tough because she has a really stiff upper spine.
Mhm.
You know, I appreciate their run of edge so much, but not their programs ever. Ever. I don't understand the vision of this team. I don't understand like what's happening here. Like it's rough.
I gotta say something. This is a personal message to Marie France. We need, unfortunately, for the Italians, I think it's time for us to. We had a great attempt last year to take them down. We really need to amp it up more this year with Lejoie and Lagat and Fear and Gibson, because I'm sorry, but like this free dance and this rhythm dance have got to be taken down a peg on the order, because we cannot have this meddling.
It's interesting. Fear and Gibson, the concept of the program is really good. But when we saw them, it was so early in the season.
It wasn't good.
I was talking to Maya about this. It seems like no one at Montreal like trained all summer. We did a lot of shows. We went to a lot of weddings. Did anybody practice in the upper group? Zach Laga was away at a piano festival for part of the summer. These two were.
They just pulled out of an event too.
For Nebelhorn.
They were supposed to be at Nebelhorn next week too. So
yeah, I don't know. I think that like in my mind, I think Montreal took a little bit of a rest, knowing
which is
that
fine.
they are going to have to go all in and they're going to have no break, no real break next summer before the Olympics. Like,
You have to remember that, this is the pre-Olympic season. Like this summer was the last time, if they want to be on, this is the last time that they could have taken a legitimate break, because no one is going to take a break next summer. They're going to go hard the entire summer to make a push for the Olympics. So, it's smart if they did take the break, but now we need to ramp it up a little bit.
Yeah, because Chock and Bates, I mean,
I've heard nothing.
They just were away so much of the summer. They were in, France, they were in Japan, they were in Hawaii, they were, so I think at this point we're going to have to, I think it's going to be a push to Skate America to get ready.
Yeah.
But, they can certainly do that and then peak later in the season. It's not going to be a huge problem as long as they pull that off. But yeah, and we've seen Chock and Bates, they've had a rough Skate America before. So, and then won the world. So it's not, all's not going to be lost. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. To me, the Italians are skating well, but this program is, I don't really know what Piper and Paul are doing. I think that they
announced their programs, but I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't know.
I saw
off the top of my head.
Saw the program. I saw that a program announcement happened, and it was like
one of
it wasn't interesting to me. I just like I know I saw it. It was wait.
Their free dance is something they did as a gala last year, and I watched the gala, and I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't overly impressed.
They were also off for a lot of the summer as well, so they could keep their better for the Olympics. It's gonna be interesting. To me, it's like still. It's interesting. It's kind of like the teams that were all like 4th, 5th, 6th, just sort of moved up, but aren't really at that kind of standard that we were used to in ice dance in the past. So this is not 2014 or 2018 in terms of matchups. So, but you know what? I saw Stepanova and Bukin at the Russian test skates, and they are levels behind.
I didn't even watch.
It was not good. It was not good. So, all right, let's talk about the Russian test skates. This was
okay.
Also,
where do you want to start?
Morozov and Jeffrey Chen are really getting.
Oh yes, They got oh,
Yeah.
they got a big boost, yeah.
And they had huge scores. So that's interesting.
And they beat the junior team that I thought would be skyrocketing up, honestly.
Yeah, so that's curious.
Yeah.
You know what? Nikolai always had a lot of friends on the panel. So
You know, Terry Terry has a lot of Italian friends. We can just say that. All right. A lot of Italian friends.
Terry does, yes, but Nikolai has Italian friends. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm saying like Russia, Terry, like Italy, like all together.
Great. You know what? Good for them. I'm sure Nikolai made some phone calls over the summer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But
And
they didn't get Skate America.
no, they did not get Skate America. That's going to Isabel Flores. But I think it kind of had to because they beat them
She
by a
beat them.
lot
Yeah.
in Lake Placid. So there was nothing that they could really do there. But
Yeah.
we'll see what happens if teams are pulling out of other competitions.
We'll see them at the Dennis 10
Did a
trophy.
good Dennis
Probably
10
they'll probably be at the Dennis 10 trophy, and we'll see those scores. You know, those are real scores at those events for ice dance.
Mordovian ornament.
Santa Claus Cup.
The West was the year the Warsaw Cup, the year that Diana Davis needed to go to the Olympics and Daisuke.
Yeah, she got an 80.
Listen, Marina Zueva, she pulled it off. So solo dance nationals were happening, and throughout the season, I never thought that Carmen was a good choice for Brooke. Like I didn't think it matched her at all. And I remember I talked to her last year about this, and I was like, well, you have to look at the GUE on some of your elements because Lucas has elements that can objectively score very high. Like his twizzles and his spin are going to be like close to +5, in that competition. Yeah. They went with Carmen. I was on the record of saying, bad choice.
You never liked it.
I said bad choice. Didn't like the idea of the music, didn't like the music cut, didn't like the program. All year they thought she was going to win.
She beat him by a lot all year too.
I was like, Marina Zueva, and Lucas trains like Evan Lysacek. I was like, they're gonna.
And it's basically like a home solo dance for him. So,
boom,
yeah.
Like Marina, I would just boom. Yeah, so she knows what she's doing.
Yeah,
right?
She's still got it.
She's still got it. Okay, respect. You know what? She doesn't even dress for the competitions anymore. She's wearing sweats. She doesn't care, right? She got it. You know that what happened?
Jeans, t-shirt, like we're fine.
When you know that Kristen pulled something on the panel earlier, and Marina lost her mind at a competition in solo dance. Like she's in it. Okay, she lost her mind.
Okay.
And everyone was like shocked. They were like, "Oh my God, can you believe Marina yelled?" She pulled off that win at Nationals.
Yeah.
I looked at that panel. I was like, every judge that I know this one judge that we're around the same age. And like, I just know he will one day be like one of the top people in US figure skating. And I was like, he knows which way to judge. Like he knows which way, very Lori Parker of him. You know what? Like
5'8", 5'9".
He's always on a panel with Bob Horn. He knows just which way to judge. Okay. I was like, yes. Okay. Marina was going to pull it off. I was like, this happened. So anyway, as we move forward to the Russian test skates, where Marina Zueva should have been. Okay. In the pair competition. Okay. At what point is Kill Bill freaking tired, right? Like at what point is it no longer original to skate to Kill Bill? Like after 20 years, like at a certain point, can you be like, this is no longer edgy? This is just very
tired.
Yes.
Did you feel? I felt the entire Russian test skate just had a very tired vibe to it.
Yes.
And all of the disciplines.
Okay, so what I really think, if I'm like 100% is, listen, they've been out of competition. This is going to be their third full season.
Yeah.
Year number one, there was a ton of money and also energy to prove we're better than the West. They kicked us out of competitions. It was internal propaganda because of the war. Putin put a ton of money behind these competitions. I'm sure. Shebetsky was everywhere, right? They were doing all the big elements that you would expect. I kind of wonder if we've cut the budget for some things with how the war is going. And also the skaters have nothing to really train for, because what's different between Russian nationals, Russian test skates, and the Russian Cup final at the end of the year? It's pretty much like 3 quasi-national championships. This one not being scored, like, but the other 2 are. They seem like they're losing that intrinsic motivation to keep
Yeah.
going. And the first year, obviously, they had to put all the money behind Valyeva to make a huge show for the West, right? And
She
that's
didn't even win.
they couldn't. They couldn't at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was even surprised. Like, I didn't know how they were going to pull it off with her last year. Like, I was like, are they gonna? It seemed like it was going to go
Remember,
this route where we were going to retire her before now.
She was cheating solo triple toes last year. Like, it was tough.
Yes. To me, the whole and Eteri was not in the rink a lot of the last 2 years. She was filming, that TV show. She films a weight loss show. It's like a Russian version of The Biggest Loser. It's called Big Girls. And it's not subtle, the production values of it. It looked like she was like more involved. Like, they at least filmed her doing like the choreography. They picked at least good music for Petrosian for the free. Overall, it looks like they haven't spent any time on this senior crop. Like no time on the programs, no time really picking music for Akacheva. You can kind of tell that they've decided to focus on like the younger skaters that maybe have a hope of going to international competitions, should the war end and Russia be allowed back in. But it looks like they're just kind of letting this generation go. And at the same time, you can tell, because if you read the Russian press, they never talk about Petrosian or Akacheva. Like, they really don't care about them because they don't have any international titles. So
Yeah.
it's interesting that the ones that they still talk about are like Kostornaia, Trusova, and all the retired ones from the past. But I felt there were really no triple axles. I mean, look, even Morviova, it was double axles in the free.
Yeah. I mean, Petrosian did hers in the short, but it wasn't like, it was fine. But then
Yeah.
and fell on her like there was one girl that landed a combination in the short program
Yeah.
of all of them. And she wasn't even like a relevant skater.
Yeah.
So
it was surprising for a country that loves to put out how many of those big elements they all did, right? Like, they want to tell you, we had 10 triple axles at test gates, and you're going to see none from the whole Grand Prix. Not the case.
There was more triple axles at Lombardia than there was at the Russian test gates.
Yeah, like, they've really slipped. And just amazing. Like, you could see the energy before the last Olympics, and it is kind of shocking. And I don't think that
they need a nice visit for the doctor. They need some more vitamins. The vitamins are low. The B12 is not in abundance there right now, I guess.
But I love, like, so there was another skater that also got busted for trimetazidine and then for a weight loss drug. Once again, it was the grandparents crushing the pills. Like, everyone in Russia, they must just be constantly crushing pills. Like, no one takes a gummy ever. What? Like, no one takes a capsule. No, we're constantly crushing pills.
And you're always eating the grandparents' pills. Like, that's what they're doing. They're consuming the grandparents' pills all the time.
Listen, the Chinese swimmers who took the same drug, it was also massive contamination. Like, listen, at this point, like, we can just take trimetazidine. Like, it's fine.
Let's just do it. Let's go for it.
Very common drug in 2 countries. And I will say, as much as people want to rip on Megan Duhamel, she was the one that told us to watch China and Russia. Like, she was
she said China had front and back of
front and back of the supplements. And you know what?
Supplements.
When Valyeva's list of supplements came out, it was like front, back in
3 pages, maybe.
3 pages, which, like, on their own, nothing there like super shocking until you start combining them. And you're like, oh, okay, this is some chemistry wizardry. But anyway, Trusova did not look prepared at all for the test skates.
No. I don't have a lot of words about her. Like, I'm excited that she's back. I think it's good and it's
But
interesting,
is she
but
really back? Like she hasn't committed to doing any of the internal competitions. This was not
do
a
you think she
strong
was just trying it out to see if she could do it?
yeah.
Okay.
You know what I
What do you
respect
think?
for her? I can't tell you how many skaters I know that like something happens or they're triggered, or even when they're skating and they're like, I'm done. I hate skating. I'm done with this. I hate the people, right? And then they're back.
Yeah.
Trusova literally told us at the Olympics that she hated skating, never wanted anything to do with it again. She's back. So this is
Mhm.
like on track for a usual figure skater. This is completely normal. Um, but she pretty much only seemed interested in landing that quad lutz. And the rest of the program,
Yeah.
like we had barely ever done it. I mean, I,
I don't even know what we did, like what the program was. Like, what
I
was
don't
the
know
music?
I didn't know what the voiceover was, nor did it seem to matter to the telling because it's
No,
no program.
no program.
She should go back to Cruella. Um, I it just isn't. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see her skate again. Like
I could see that potentially happening.
I thought she was gonna make a run for it, but then after seeing her here, I can't see her ever doing like really competitive spins again.
Mm-mm. I don't think she wants. I mean, does she really want to? Like, at this point, like, you don't need to do it, you know? Like, why would you want to do it for an internal Russian cup?
Like she should be.
There's no motivation.
Do they have like Ninja Warrior in Russia? Like that would be a better outing for her. Like she could just like
Yeah.
go on a show like that. Like some sort of reality show would be great for her. Yeah, I don't think she's gonna keep skating at this point. Like would love to see it for the drama and the theatrics and the intrigue, but this is not good. I
Yeah.
thought Kacheva could maybe get some of her jumps back.
She
I
looked good. It was nice.
was that a train sound in her free skate in the middle of it? Like remember they had
Was
the
it, I thought,
long
wasn't it at the
ropes?
beginning or was it a hospital? I don't know.
I don't know. What these like, they didn't try to appeal to the bigger audience at all. I don't know.
Anything could have been playing for her too. Didn't think any was anything special.
Most like the last couple of years with her. Muraviova, I don't know why we did Swan Lake.
For both programs.
A choice. Yeah. Okay.
Angels of Plashenko. That's all you have to say.
All right. So let's talk about our girl Kostornaia. All right.
Okay.
First of all, I still can't get over that she's making her husband do a version of her signature short program. Like, I just love that that's a real thing. Like, I like that that's really happening.
Which one's next?
And I like that he was teaching her pairs in the beginning. She's clearly better than he is.
Yeah.
She missed her flip at the short program, but she's so clearly surpassed him. She's so talented. Are we gonna need a new husband soon? Like, I
I
don't.
know. I know. Do you know what I was saying to someone? I said once Galyamov, like, if they ever have any problems, like,
Put
scoop
her in.
him up immediately.
Put her in. I think.
Yeah.
Um.
And they were hard on her, Mishina, in the press. We
Yes.
can't say that, but what they said, like, go look on Sportsweek. They were
They were not nice.
not kind to her.
But she and Galyamov were not ready for this competition. And
No. Yeah.
when I talked to Moskvina like a month ish ago, like she was saying about how he had graduated and they had more time off this summer. It just looked like they weren't as ready. Like Boykova was ready to compete. She was streaming.
Boykova was more interesting,
I
I
thought
felt.
this free program was a snooze, though. The music
Yeah, it was boring.
was really boring. Um, at least like, do you notice that like every other year, Mishin and Galyamov try to do like something current? Like they did Queen, right? And then they had the standard like snowstorm program for the Olympics. Then
Mhm.
they did Elvis Presley. Then they had a more normal program last year, which is
Michael Jackson now.
Michael Jackson. Now, like
Yeah.
every other year, they have
Why
like
do the Russians love Michael Jackson so much?
I don't know, they love someone problematic. They really
Yeah.
do. But it was an okay program. Like it could be cool-ish, but like the execution was not there. So
Mhm.
I don't know. They're
Yeah.
not having the best season right now. They need to get ready. This was not their best day, but they just looked really rough compared to like what we're expected to see. Like even the jumps that they landed, like they were really landing forward in the toe pick. They just looked really scratchy overall. So
Yeah.
yeah. What was your moment of the week?
Oh, hold on. One thing, and then we'll do the moment of
Okay.
the week. I have some things just to shout out some people this week.
Okay.
Star Andrews at the
Oh,
Pasadena Open
yes.
almost scored over 200.
Okay.
She's adding in a triple Lutz for her free skate.
Okay.
Got a clean edge on her double Lutz this week.
And you were hard on her when she was only doing like loop, sow, and toe, like the old Carolina.
Said she needed to step it up.
She's
That was
stepping up.
correct.
She listened to
And
you. Okay.
I think she could be in contention for nationals to not medal, but do well.
Has she gone to Abby Lee's legs and feet class yet?
I don't know. We need to ask.
Abby Lee loves anyone.
Toshawa, like, has she gone?
Abby Lee loves anyone who loves Abby, and she will. You know what? Star could get the followers. So
and then for the men there, Goku Endo and Beck Stromer both did very well.
Yes,
and they're short. We haven't seen their free skate, the scores yet, but good for them. They're doing well, and it's good to have some skaters skating well in the US again.
Right. I want to give a shout out to Ting Shui.
Love her.
Okay. So after I saw her at Ilia's show, she's like, "Did you like my homage to Michelle Kwan?" Which, like, respect, right? And she knew I would like respect, right? Her short program is to Black Magic Woman, with Sandra gave Chen Lu when she turned professional, which was like a really scandalous thing in 1998, 1999, which was like the start of the message boards. People were really upset to see like Chen Lu be sexified, and they were really mad at Sandra for this program. Ting pulls it off really well. She has like a really good, interesting program. Respect. Okay. As I said, she knows her A-list Asians very well. And she is, knowing her 90s skating, she's getting an A+ in the history course. Okay. She's getting a 5 in AP skating. We're very proud of her. And I'm happy with Ting Shui. Okay.
And she did great at Mid-Atlantic. So
you know, she's our dark horse for top 10 at nationals. All right. Like we
need to make nationals. We need her there.
We need to be there. All right. So what was your moment of the week? Oh, also that Melissa and Dennis have that junior team that's really good. Hannah and Daniil.
The one that medaled?
Yes. Okay.
Good for them.
Do you know how interesting Melissa and Dennis are?
I don't, but I know you do.
Okay, so like once upon a time they did like this like trio with Johnny Weir, which was like really random and artsy. And they're like still there. Like, you know how Johnny Weir was like obsessed with Lady Gaga? Like Melissa and Dennis think of themselves as being very artsy. They've had some like really interesting photo shoots. I once went to a show where they did black and gold, and they did a program and they had like light up Christmas lights on the like they're just
interesting, you know?
Unique characters. She openly like purchased him as a partner, and then they got married. And like they really went with it. Like they committed to the bit more than anyone. They just have the most interesting packaging for their teams every year. Like we need to, this team doesn't have it quite yet. He is dressed like a Russian male skater from 1992. She looks like a ballerina. It's fine. It's nice, but like keep your eye, because they also consult. They were listed for the Italian team that won at the JGP. So like if more people start going to Melissa and Dennis, we are going to be really entertained. Okay. Like regardless, massively entertaining. Like maybe we don't like their taste, but they have a point of view. Okay. So what I would say is they brought in Pasha Grishuk to work with their teams. So again, like just interesting. Okay. My moment of the week has to be Yuma Kagiyama. His free Amber winning. It's a tie. Okay. For the actual beautiful skating, I'm going with Yuma. For the sentimentality of someone we have watched struggle, I'm going with Amber and the 2 triple axels. How about you?
I'm gonna go with the Amber Glen Shore program, and then I'm gonna do the Ilia Malinin star power, star quality that we saw all week. I was very impressed with him, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. So
you do you. Hold an edge. It looks sexy, everyone. Bye.